somebody's really stressed out, they're not stressed out for no reason. It's because they're focusing on something that makes them feel stressed.
When I have a difficult day, here's one of the first things I do.
A lot of people are stressed right now. Why? Text, phone, mobile, radio, TV, Facebook, Twitter, all this. It's just non-stop stress in the brain.
Want to be happy? Live a life, not just a business.
Living that believing life. Out here living that believing life. Every day we living that believing life. Hustle like we living that believing life. Living life, yeah, so we grinding it out. Every single day we be grinding it out. Hustle like we living that believing life, oh. That believing life, oh.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know you're capable of more. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So today, let's live your best believe life and learn the 10 ways to be less stressed. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with way #1. Change your state with Tony Robbins.
If somebody is, we were mentioning earlier, if somebody is really stressed out, they're not stressed out for no reason. It's because they're focusing on something that makes them feel stressed. They often, when they're focusing on it, it changes the body. You start to feel tight. You start to feel a certain way. And then they use language like, I don't know what to do. Why am I so overwhelmed? So 3 things control how you feel every moment. What you focus on, what you do with your body. If your shoulders are down, if you're breathing like, it's not hard to figure out. You're not going to be in a very resourceful state. If I take that same person and I change their body radically, I get them to talk at a different tempo, I get them to move their body differently. I've taught this for, 41 years. 3 years ago at Harvard, they did a study on power postures where they showed that if you stand like this with your hands on your hips like Superman or Wonder Woman, or if you lean back like this like the guy is obnoxious at the office and do this, it literally changes your testosterone by 25% within 2 minutes. It reduces cortisol, which you know is the stress hormone, by 30%, and you're 33% more likely to take an action. So if we change what we focus on, if we change the way we use our body, if we change our language patterns, we'll instantly feel different. Think it's how do people use their body when they're worried versus when they're excited? Yeah. If you learn to use your body first, use your focus first, you can literally change how you feel in moments, and then you develop new habits where you start to feel good all the time, and it isn't some phony fake pump up. It's literally the way you've conditioned your body. Just like being fit as an athlete, you want to be emotionally fit.
Way #2, move with Robin Sharma.
When I have a difficult day, here's one of the first things I do. I will get on my mountain bike and I will ride like a bat out of wherever through the forest, and that releases dopamine in my brain, which is the neurotransmitter of inspiration. And that releases serotonin, moving right on the bicycle. It releases serotonin, which is the pleasure neurotransmitter. And it cuts down on my cortisol, which is the fear hormone. So just simply going for a mountain bike ride or going for a swim or getting into yoga class or something as simple as going for a walk or maybe even doing jumping jacks when no one's looking will create a pharmacy of mastery within your brain, which will affect your psychology, your neurobiology, and your interior life, which makes you just feel a lot better. You know that. After a workout, you always feel different than you did before you went into the workout. And related to a pharmacy of mastery is something that I have counted on for years. When I've had good seasons, when I've had challenging seasons of my life. Massage. I call it the 2 massage protocol. 2 massages every single week. It moves your lymph, it moves your blood, which oxygenates your system, it reduces toxicity, you feel a whole lot better.
Way #3, turn stress on itself with Jocko Willink.
There's been thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of warriors that have been in very stressful situations and faced evil and faced death much worse than the situation I'm in or you're in that we might consider stressful. And I even did this when I was overseas, when I was on deployment, when I was a combat leader. I was feeling stress. And you know what? We took casualties and it was awful and it was heartbreaking. But there were other soldiers and warriors throughout time that have been in much worse situations. Gettysburg or Vicksburg or the Battle of the Bulge. in all those horrible situations, they prove really that humans can withstand almost unimaginable stress, which meant to me that I could too. And you can. And the first step for me is doing that, taking that look to gain some perspective. And then in order to gain perspective, you got to do something that we already talked about. You've got to detach. You've got to detach from the problems or the stress that you're experiencing so that you can get that perspective of them. Now, there's a couple different types of stress. Now, if it's something that you can control that's causing you stress, well, why aren't you getting control of it? Now, there's also stress that's caused by things that you cannot control. And if you remember talking earlier about artillery and how horrible that was, and what made it so horrible was that there's no control over it. So if you can't control something and you can't get control of it, you have to at least embrace what you can. And I'm not saying you're going to embrace artillery shelling, but I'll tell you what, when it comes to things like artillery, or for us in Ramadi, it was IEDs. And we could do everything we could do to mitigate that risk, but eventually there's only so much you can do, and you cannot completely eliminate it. But you can't control it, so why are you going to worry about it? Why are you going to stress about it? If there's something that's completely beyond your control, you've got to detach from it and not let yourself get stressed about it. And on top of that, if it's something that you can't control, how can you look at it in a different light? How can you see it in a way that you could actually take advantage of it? How can you take that stress and make it into some kind of ally? You know, the chaos of combat is something that I couldn't control, but I had to embrace it so I could try and figure out how to take advantage of it. So when it comes to stress, don't fight it. Turn it on itself and use it. Use it. Use it to make yourself sharper and more alert. And use it to make yourself think more and learn more and get better. And use that stress as a catalyst to make yourself better.
Way number 4, disconnect with John Asraf.
A lot of people are stressed right now. Why? Text, phone, mobile, radio, TV, Facebook, Twitter, all this. It's just non-stop stress in the brain. And when the brain feels stressed, then obviously cortisol, epinephrine, norepinephrine kick in, and that's a stress hormone. Well, it's like having, your finger on the electricity button all day long and just not stopping. So you start to burn the fibers, your nerves.
Hey, this is John Asraf, and do you love good books? I love to read because there's so much wisdom in books. You get to take somebody else's knowledge, skills, research, pay $15-20, and you learn so much. Now, I'm reading this awesome book called Built to Serve. Find your purpose and become the leader you were born to be. And one of my new friends, really smart guy, really great guy who serves a lot of people, Evan Carmichael, wrote it. And I'm going to read a little bit from chapter number 1. And I love this piece. And maybe it's because I just watched the series on TV on Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, which is really great, by the way, also. One of the things he says here is everybody has Michael Jordan talent at something. Everybody has a Michael Jordan talent at something. You just haven't found it yet. Or you have and you don't believe in yourself enough to go all in. To go all in, right? And you're a genius. I believe you're a genius. And so does he. You're amazing. You are not meant to live a photocopy of someone else's life. You were not created to wake up and do work that is below your capabilities. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something, and you need to uncover exactly what your purpose is and how you can serve and use the serve. So lots of pearls and gems and motivational pieces. Pick up Built to Serve. Evan Carmichael, rising star.
Way number 5, embrace stress and pressure with Tom Bilyeu.
That Steve Jobs quote that the world is made by people no smarter than you is actually true. And so if you're believing that these people are smarter than you because you did bad on your SATs, I'm just going to tell you right now, stop. So you can develop yourself. So my obsession became that humans are the ultimate adaptation machine. We are literally wired from the ground up in order to grow and improve under stress and pressure. So it's like, what's the phrase? Pressure can burst pipes, but it also creates diamonds. So it's like, you need the pressure. And yes, it can hurt, but it can also make something amazing if you're willing to put yourself in that situation. So it's a weird twist of fate that humans, in order to build the muscle, you first have to tear it, right? So, but once you accept that that's how it works, you can do extraordinary things.
Way number 6, get consumed by positivity with Guru Gopal Das.
Get consumed by the positive energy. Focus not on your bad habits. Get consumed not by the negative energy of your bad habits. Sometimes we just get so consumed by it that all that's playing on our mind is that. No, that's meant to be dealt with. Focus on the good things that are happening in your life. And to focus on the good things and be grateful doesn't happen automatically. It's not our default setting. Our default setting is to go towards the negative. Our default setting is to focus on the negative. We have to customize our lives. By being consciously aware, we have to become more mindful and conscious of the wonderful gifts, the wonderful opportunities, the wonderful blessings that we've been showered with. And with that positive energy, with that positive emotion of gratitude, feel tremendously empowered to deal with our bad habits, to deal with our challenges. And therefore, do not be hateful about what you're going through in life. Be grateful for all those wonderful gifts that you've been given in your life.
Way number 7, don't put pressure on yourself with Marie Forleo.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned in the last decade for you?
That things, first of all, keep getting better. I think in our society, especially as it relates to, as you get older, at least in my family, there was a lot of kind of cultural expectations like, oh, over this age, it kind of starts going down, or you know what I mean? You peak when you're young, and that's when all the good stuff happens. And for me, I feel like it keeps getting better. And I love that the best years are still ahead of me, and that all the stuff that I've been through, there's like all of these exciting new possibilities. So that's one of the biggest lessons. And I think the other one is that I don't have to stress as hard. Like, as a human being, I have a really strong work ethic, but I also tend to put a lot of pressure on myself. And the other lesson I've learned is that I don't need to do that the work actually gets done more joyfully and more creatively if I don't add on that additional layer of pressure and stress.
Way number 8, endure stress with Radhanath Swami.
Stress. It seems to follow us at every turn in life. Through timeless wisdom, we could learn to transform stress into a positive energy that inspires personal fulfillment and heightened productivity. The same stress that pummels us into anxiety has the potential to increase the value of life, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Stress can break us or strengthen us. An athlete grows in speed and strength through enduring stress. For example, when lifting weights, the greater the resistance, the stronger the weightlifter becomes. However, if not balanced properly, the stress of the weight could injure your back or damage your muscles. Properly managed, even the stress of taking exams in school can be an impetus to serious study. The queen of gems, the precious diamond, is nothing but common coal that with the help of nature's wisdom has been transformed under extreme pressure. And gold, the king of metals, is purified by blazing fire. Integrity means to embrace our ideals, even in the face of temptation or fear, and to become a more compassionate human being in the process. But how does that happen? How can we transform stress from a hurtful energy to a helpful energy? The Bible tells us that if you build your house on a foundation of rock, then whatever storms may come, the house will not be moved. But if you build your house on a foundation of sand, it may look beautiful, but when a storm comes, it will collapse. The timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita explains that this foundation is the inner peace and love that is the very nature of our soul and our true potential.
Way number 9, control your awareness with Dandapani.
When I was growing up, I had met my guru when I was about 21, and I was going to join his monastic order, which was in Hawaii. I was at that time living in Western Australia and studying in university. And I remember in my last year of engineering, I was feeling extremely stressed. I had a thesis which I'd been working on for a year and a half that I needed to complete. In the next month, I had about 7 or 8 examinations that I had to pass in order to graduate as an engineer. I was the president of the youth group of our temple over there, the local temple over there, and we were organizing a lot of different events. And I was also dancing as part of a dance company that I was involved in, and they were also putting up a big show, so we were rehearsing almost every night. And I remember emailing my guru saying, Gurudev, I'm really stressed. I have all these things going on, and I'm stressed. He emailed me back, and I don't remember the exact words that he used, but he emailed me back and said, the reason you're stressed is because you don't keep your awareness on one thing at a time. And I'll be absolutely honest with you, ever since that day, I've never felt stressed anymore. And I know it's a very bold proclamation to make, but it's true. Because I clearly understood what he said to me at that point. Whenever I was dancing, I was thinking about my thesis. And when I was working on my thesis, I was thinking about the exams I had to do. When I was working on my exams, when I was studying for my exams, I was thinking about the youth group. And wherever I was thinking about something else. Anxiety comes because we allow awareness to drift away from the present moment and go into the future or into the past in an uncontrolled way. So the past and the future are not bad things as long as we indulge in them or we enter them with the aim to learn from them. But if we just allow awareness to travel into the past and into the future all the time, it creates anxiety. And we do that because we're afraid. Anxiety comes out of a sense of fear where we allow awareness to go into the future. We create a situation that hasn't happened. We bring it back into the present and start living it as it has already happened. You keep repeating the process over and over and over again. You build anxiety. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to get sick. You think in the future, what if I get sick? Then what happens? Oh my God, I'm going to get sick. And then you bring back the present and you start living that. 5 minutes later, you let your awareness go into the future and you think to yourself, I'm not going to get better, I'm going to get sick. And then you bring awareness back into the present again and you start worrying about it. You keep repeating this process over and over again and you build anxiety. So the way to overcome stress and anxiety is to really control where your awareness goes. Every time your awareness goes into the future or into the past in an uncontrolled way, bring it back to the present again. And just do this exercise. Be mindful of this throughout the entire day. Don't let your awareness go into the past or into the future in an uncontrolled way.
And way number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is practice stress management with Jim Quick.
And finally, number 10, what I try to practice every single day is stress management. So if you want to know what the biggest obstacle is for people's brains is stress. Stress creates cortisol, adrenaline in your body, and it's really good for fight or flight. It's not really good if you need to take a test. It's not really good if you need to study. It's not really if you have to read reports and journals and learn something brand new or learn a language.
Sure.
Because that'll shut down parts of your brain.
Wow.
So those are the 10 things that I focus on every single day. That's what's going to move the needle more than anything.
Now I've got a really special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video, and what are you going to do to take action on it this week? When you write down what day, what time, and what place you're going to take action on something, you have a 91% chance of following through versus just 35% if you got motivated but never wrote down a plan. And when you share your plan and have public accountability, it raises your chances of following through even higher. So that's what I want to do today for you guys. You watch this video. What was your single biggest takeaway, and what is your plan to take action on it this week? Let me know. Put it down in the comments below.
I love the idea of reframing a negative situation into a positive one. It can really serve you. It reminds me of what Tony Robbins said of, you look at the worst thing that's ever happened to your life and ask yourself, how can this worst thing ever be the best thing ever? How do you reframe it so that the most negative situation ever in your life becomes your biggest strength, becomes your mission, helps you follow something that then has a bigger impact? I really think that for people who get through a negative situation, it makes them a lot stronger just as a human being. And quite often the mission that we have in our lives, the things that we want to contribute and give back, is so that other people don't have to face the same consequences, the same suffering that we faced. So for me, I love helping entrepreneurs. I love it. It fuels me. It drives me. What's the big reason for it? Well, it's because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur that I want to make it easier for other people who are like me. And if you're looking for your mission, just go back to previous pain that you've dealt with and how you've gotten through it. Quite often what you want to do is then make it easier for people to not have to suffer through the same pain. Figure out what you stand for, figure out what your one word is, figure out what's at the core of you, figure out what your mission is. And then any negative situation that happens, you can reframe it to one that's empowering for you, the one that serves you, the ones that builds you up and can inspire others around you as well.
If you want to change your life for free in the next 30 days, check the link right here below me. Or if you want to know how Tony Robbins says you should deal with depression, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy them. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.